You're listening to the Anchored at Harbor Park podcast. This podcast is sponsored by You Are the Answer, pure sports nutrition products for the pure effort you put into your training.
These products are awesome. We carry them in our gym and our members love them. Super simple, pure, all-natural ingredients with delicious flavors. You can learn more about them by visiting their website at www.youaretheanswer.com, and remember to use promo code CFHP to get 20% off your first order.
Go ahead and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platforms so you never miss an episode. Remember to leave us a review. Doing so helps us reach more and in turn helps us impact more people's lives.
Now on with the show.
Welcome to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit, a show dedicated to helping you find enrichment for the other 23 hours of your day outside of the gym. Here's your hosts, Jason, Dave, and Corian.
Welcome back. Wow.
Go with it, wing it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 71 of Anchored. I'm Coach Jason.
I'm Coach Dave.
Coach Corian.
And today we're talking about the 80-20 rule, particularly how it relates to nutrition, maybe a little bit about fitness. We'll see where the conversation leads.
I love this topic. This is something I talk about a lot. So with that, I'm going to give an icebreaker that will kind of flow into what we're talking about today. If you have to choose when you go out to dinner and you know that you're going to enjoy something that you wouldn't normally because you are going out or whatever, would you prefer to add an appetizer or add a dessert? You can only have one or the other.
Probably appetizer.
Yeah.
By the time I get to dessert, I'm usually too full anyways to eat it.
Dessert.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like because I eat so many like veggies and greens and stuff like that, like I am still kind of hungry at the end of the meal because I don't eat a lot of the bread and everything like that. So give me all the chocolate.
When I go out, I'm usually getting Mexican, so inherently it's gonna be chips and salsa for an appetizer.
True.
Although La Fagata has really good dessert. Or if I'm going to an Italian place, then we're gonna have bread and probably something else.
Well, that reminds me of something totally tangent. Dave and I will talk about this, like when we go out to eat and they put dinner rolls out. I'm fine having a roll. Like I will absolutely do that. But I want something that is like fresh made in your restaurant. I'm not gonna sit here and eat like a shitty store-bought bun as like my appetizer. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it good.
Right.
So I would be the same way if it was like nice fresh made bread.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's dive into the 80-20 rule. I know that I've talked to a lot of members and clients about this. And the reason that I'm such a big fan of the 80-20 rule is because it's sustainable, which goes along with exactly what I kind of preach and teach with my nutrition and my healthy habits. Because if something's not sustainable and you're only going to do it for 3, 6, or even 12 months, but then the rest of your life, whatever that looks like, you're never on that again, what was the point of that? And 80-20 is a lot more sustainable for people. It's something that we can still see results. We can typically still see pretty immediate results without overwhelming our mind or body to the point where we can't keep going.
Right. So it's kind of like maybe sacrificing some short-term benefit for long-term.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that I was just having this conversation with, I believe with Rachel, Coach Rachel, is we were just talking about how, you know, she, with her training and me too, like understanding like the long game, you know, she was just really impressed with the CrossFit Games this last year. Amanda Barnhart finally made it to the games and did really well, but she's been doing CrossFit for I think 8 years. And Rachel said that was really eye-opening for her because she's been doing CrossFit for 3.5. And so for her, it was kind of a relief and like the pressure's off that she doesn't have to make it to the games this year in this moment, which then allows her to follow this 80-20 and really sustain and take care of her body versus maybe, you know, the opens in now only 2 months, instead of hammering it out, going crazy, and maybe doing some things that might be detrimental to her long-term health, she's understanding that there's more to life.
Right.
And that's why I like the 80-20 rule, because you can't be 100% all the time. Like, there's no way. So you can be, I've seen people where they try to, they'd be 100% for like 2-3 weeks, and because it's so strict and you're so rigid, there's just no way. You're going to fall off at some point because you're just, I can't maintain that.
Yeah, for me personally, for the clients that I coach, for the members in our gym, for people that I follow, it is an absolute pathway to destruction when you go 100%. People think that it's something that I have to go all or nothing. And it's not, because you get into the scarcity mindset, and then all you think about are the things that you're missing out on, not the things that you're achieving in your life. And then whatever's going on in our head manifests itself out there. So if I sat here and told myself 100% I can't do this, I can't have it, that's all I'm going to think about, and that's all I'm going to want. And so you kind of set yourself up for failure, and you can see it over and over again.
Well, we can actually look at some of the top CrossFit athletes as an example. They literally are going 100% for most of the year, training for the games. And then now, since we have social media, we can really get a behind the scenes view of as soon as that competition is done, what they've been training 100% for, it is 0% for a week to 2 weeks where they're not training, they're eating ice cream every day, they're eating pizza every day.
They're traveling the world, they're going to see things.
Yeah. And even before, I remember Sarah Sigmundsdottir once said, I think it was a couple weeks before the game, she's like, oh, all I can think about is ice cream. And then the person who was videoing her was like, well, are you going to get some? She's like, no, are you crazy? Not until after the games. So this is an example of when you totally say you can't have something, then that, in their case, it was an event that happened, it was done, and then they're off the rails. Now, that's okay for them because they're world-class athletes and they'll get it back together. But for the 99% of us who don't have the willpower that they do, if you try to do something 100% like that, you could probably be successful for a period, but then you're going to hit that event or whatever it is, go off the rails like they do, but not have the willpower to correct it afterwards.
I've said this many, many times. Last summer, for my birthday, I was 100% all in nutrition and training and business. That was where it went. And all I thought about was food that I couldn't have. And we went out for my birthday, and I just went ape shit. And I just overindulged and overengorged. And then for me, the only way to quote unquote get it back was to go back 100%, because I was so far off mentally that I didn't understand at the time how to manage an 80-20. And then luckily Nina came in, and we went from that 100% to 99, 98, 98, 97, 90%. And we slowly dialed back until I was mentally and physically okay with that 80-20 rule. And now, this year this past summer's been a little rough, for Dave and I, and we've had a lot of stuff going on, but I enjoyed my birthday weekend. This past weekend, we enjoyed time with family as well. I didn't track anything. We ate relatively very healthy. There's still some things that I know I'm battling mentally with it, but I did really well, and I'm not beating myself up over it, and I'm still seeing progress. Today I came in and did 35 minutes on a biker that I didn't want to do, but and then I think too, realizing that 80-20 is okay, and then still seeing that progress is, like I said, going to be a big difference. You can realize that that 20% of time that you didn't do what you wanted to do, or maybe ate something you didn't want to eat, did it really reflect? Did it really affect your training that much?
So this is something that you follow, obviously, for your 80-20 rule. I know you give this to your clients. So what does that look like for you? We're talking 80-20.
Yeah.
We're saying, hey, 80% of the time you're good, 20% of the time you're not. That doesn't mean you're just eating cake
Yeah.
on that 20%, but like break that down, like share what you do for 80/20.
So you can break down 80/20, and we've done this for business, we've done this for fitness, we've done nutrition, whatever you want. 80/20 breaks down to 20% of your effort should be spent on high quality things that are going to get you results. Eating healthy foods, activity in the gym, reading books that are going to elevate your mindset or your training, whatever it is. So 20% is about the quality of what you're doing, and it should be the top quality, should be your focus. So for me, what that looks like when it comes to food is making sure that my food is wholesome, real sources. So a lot of veggies, lean meats, healthy fats, very, very little to minimal processed food, because we know that high quality foods are going to give you all the nutrients that you need for fueling your body. So that's my main focus. No, that means that I still have wine on the weekend, but that's okay. And then I make sure to follow that high quality food 80% of the time. So if I have high quality food, which is the thing that's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck, 80% of the time, I'm going to see results. So just breaking that down into Dave and I's dinner yesterday with family, we brought steak because we got to grill on my dad's grill. We brought eggplant, we brought red potatoes, and they had burgers that they made, and all of that was healthy, real food. We made a homemade mango guacamole. I think the only thing that would be that quote-unquote 20% would be the fact that we did like corn tortilla chips, which we don't normally do. Now, they're not the worst in the world. They were just blue corn, some oil and salt, so still higher quality, but it wouldn't be something we typically eat. So of that meal, that's what that broke down to. Most of my plate was, 80% of that plate was things that was really good quality, a little bit less quality.
Neat.
Yeah.
So that would be like Jason eating 80% of the pizza. I'm just kidding. Nice.
Yeah, so there's like a million different ways you can look at it. You can break it down into one meal. So say you're going to a cookout, and then we talk about this all the time, or you're going to a family outing, or you're going to a Brewers game, or you're going somewhere that has food. I guarantee you can get healthy food. There's so many more options nowadays. Even my brother told me he was flying in on Friday, and he got in, and by the time they left the airport, it was like 10:30 at night. He was starving because there wasn't food on the plane, and he was like, there was just nothing for me to eat. Now, he opted to not eat at all and pretty much just kind of went home and went to bed because he was tired. But I'm like, you could have gone to a fast food and still picked better options, because fast food does have better options nowadays. Grilled chicken, just toss the bun, don't get the cheese on there. Most places have salads nowadays, all of that sort of stuff. So again, when you're doing these things, how can you make sure that 80% of the food that you're going to eat is a higher quality food? And then if you want, you can still have something else. So this is where we get out of that scarcity mindset. So Dave and I have, weddings we've gone to. I've got a wedding that's coming up next month. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to know ahead of time kind of what the food is. I'm going to make sure I have healthy meals all day long leading up to it. And I'm going to make sure that of the foods that I grab, 80% of them are going to be really healthy, and that I'm going to have a piece of cake or a cupcake. That's my 20%. And that's how you get out of the scarcity mindset. Because if I sat there and told myself that at my best friend's wedding, I'm not going to enjoy cake with her, what am I going to think about the entire time? Or I'm just going to be miserable because I'm not partaking in the social event.
Right.
And that's not really realistic either. That damages your relationships with people.
Still got to live your life. Enjoy it. It is about that.
Yeah. So you can break it down into the, micro bits, so each meal, and some people like to do that. They, that's a good place to start depending on where your current nutrition is. You can break it down into your day, you can break it down into your week. So, on average, most of my clients come to me where they're eating probably 3 meals a day. And of that 3 meals a day, we've got 7 meals out of the week. That's 21 meals. 18 of them should be whole, real food. And so if you have 3 meals where you go out and maybe enjoy dinner with friends or anything like that, you're going to be less likely to overindulge and eat higher calories than you intended. And you'll probably still make pretty decent choices because now you're getting in the routine and habit of making good choices, but you also are allowing yourself that freedom to have those 3 meals where you're not stressing and worrying about it. So it's going to mentally put you in a better place, and you're going to enjoy life, and you're still going to be able to see progress.
Right. It's kind of crazy, but it's like all just boils down to the mental side of things.
It does. And I think that's probably the biggest thing about this is our bodies can sustain just about anything, but it's our minds and our willpower and our drive. Like, what is it that we can sustain? And we talk about this with our business all the time. The 3 of us can't go 100% of the time, which is why it's nice that we have business partners and we have each other. There are times that we pull back, and there are going to be times that maybe that dips to 70-30, and there's other weeks that maybe you had a 90-10 week. In the end, it's all going to balance out, but keeping yourself mentally happy and satisfied is going to, again, carry over in that sustainability, long-term health, and be able to really change your life because, this is how we've stayed in fitness for 5 years. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then it's like if we want to touch on the fitness side of things with 80-20, like kind of like what we're thinking about in the gym here is like, so 80% of the time we want to do the exercises that are going to give you the best bang for your buck. So that's why most of the movements are, our squats and our deadlifts and our presses, or what we call functional movements. We do them a lot because they're kind of what make the biggest difference for you.
Yep.
Then like 20% of the time we'll do those, accessory work or finisher kind of things.
Or fun things that are just odd objects.
Yeah. So same deal. Because, ideally we could do 100% of the big bang stuff, but it's not that much stuff, and then you'd get bored with it and you'd stop coming. So sprinkle in the more fun stuff every now and then. Same kind of deal, just to keep your mind.
And the same goes with if we add in too much stuff where it's this plethora of just wide variety, then you're not going to see progress, you're not going to see a difference, because now we're not sticking to the 20% that are making the biggest difference. We've got way too many things going on, so we don't see any change. So if you're feeling like you're not seeing change, I would relook, whether it's fitness, business, or nutrition. Honestly, truly ask yourself, what are the things that are going to give me the biggest return on my investment? Those high quality things: sleep, whole real foods, activity every day. Do those 80% of the time. Okay? What happens though is people don't want to do the boring work. They want the magic pill. They want that thing that's going to separate them. They want the quick fix. So it's so funny because there's like a meme going around, and it's like, fitness professional, how do I get healthy? And it's like, well, eat, sleep, drink plenty of water, nutrient dense food, activity daily. No. Just give me the latest fat burner, because that's what I want. And it's like, we say this stuff. We've been on the air for over a year, guys. And I probably in some way, shape, or form have said this on numerous occasions because it's what works. So don't try to skate around it. Look at your life. Look at what is that 20%, and are you truly honestly doing that? And if you are you doing it 80% of the time?
Awesome.
All right.
Got anything else?
I think that's it.
Amazing. Love it.
Get after it, guys.
All right, guys, it's the 80-20 rule, and that wraps up another episode of Anchored. Stay classy.
Bye.
All right, everyone, that wraps up another episode of Anchored. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to share it with someone you know. Give us a 5-star review on your listening platform. That helps us reach more people. And remember to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. We'll talk to you guys later, and stay classy.
Thanks for listening to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit. If you would like further information about our programs, visit www.harborparkcrossfit.com. We hope you'll tune in next time.